2024 is one of the biggest years ever for cozy gamers, and today I'm going to tell you exactly why. Last weekend was Summer Games Fest, and this is 3 whole days packed with some of the biggest gaming showcases and news of the year. And not only did this include the Wholesome Direct, which was an hour-long presentation dedicated to cozy games, we also had a ton of cozy games being announced in all the other showcases as well. So I went through the almost 100 cozy games that were revealed across the entire weekend and picked 20 of my favorites to share with you today. And I honestly think this is one of the strongest lists I've ever put together of upcoming cozy games. Now this is going to be split into 2 parts. The first part is going to be brand new cozy game announcements that came out this weekend, and the second part is going to be updates and news to do with the biggest, most anticipated upcoming cozy games. So make sure you're subscribed and let's get into it. First up, by the developers of Romantic, one of my favorite cozy games ever, we have their brand new title, Starbirds. Now this is too early to know exactly which consoles this is coming to, but seeing as Romantic was released on the Nintendo Switch, then I think we're safe to assume that this will probably make its way to the Switch as well. This is a cozy asteroid building game that fuses sci-fi building and resource management as you try and build up a population on an asteroid and keep them happy. This will see you place production facilities, mine resources, automate manufacturing. You can also deliver things to and from your space station, and even establish trade routes and set off to different star systems to explore. But don't worry, not only is this suitable for new players to the genre, but also veterans as well. I love me a good resource management game, and I love the fact that they managed to put all the elements I really enjoy about them in a game that still seems to be fundamentally cozy. Next is Undusted Letters from the Past, and this is another game that is super early on in development, but would be perfect for the Nintendo Switch, as this is a game all about cleaning and restoring long forgotten dirty objects. And with each item you clean, you get to learn about the backstories behind each of the objects as they whisper their memories of the past to you. I love this mix between satisfying gameplay but also the ability to tell a story as well. And although I'm someone who hates doing the washing up, I thoroughly look forward to diving into this game. Next up we have Among the Wilds. This looks cozy, chaotic, and also a little bit cursed. So basically this is my perfect game. Now this is particularly early on in development, but after seeing this trailer, I had to share it with you guys. This is a first-person farming sim, which sees you try and take care of an unruly variety of creatures. I mean, just look at them. But in order to take care of them properly, you'll need to learn about their behaviors and diets in order for them to truly thrive on your farm, and maybe even use their abilities to help make your farm better. But don't worry, they won't just work on your farm, as you'll also be able to take them out on adventures to gather resources and find and catch even more creatures. But much like a lot of the creature collecting games, you'll also rely on these brand new friends to help combat all the threats that come your way. I really like this mix between creature collecting game, but also the day-to-day care of them on your farm. This just kind of seems like if Power World was an actually cozy game, you know, without all of their cursed mechanics. As I said, this is super early on in development. They haven't even launched their alpha yet, although that's coming soon, but I can't wait to track the development of this game. Next up is After Love, and this is coming out later in 2024 on PC and Nintendo Switch. Now this is made by the creators of Coffee Talk, so I already know this is a game that I am gonna fall in love with. This is described as being a slice of life adventure set in modern Jakarta. And this is a blend of being a visual novel, narrative adventure, but also a rhythm game as well. In this you play as Rama, a young musician who's struggling to move on after the death of his girlfriend Sinta. And despite his bandmates' best efforts, after over a year, he's still neglecting his mental health, his relationships, and hasn't found a way to move forward. But soon you find out that one of the biggest reasons for this is because he can still hear Sinta's voice in his head. And with just 28 days left until one of the most important gigs of his life, he either needs to crack on with his music or else his band said they will leave him. And the choices to get you there are yours to make. I think this is going to be heart-wrenching and beautiful all at the same time. I'm so ready to blubber my way through this, and I'm so excited that it's only going to be a little bit longer for us to wait. Next up is Minami Lane. Now this is already available on PC, but it will also be releasing on Nintendo Switch sometime in 2024. This is an adorable management sim set on the Japanese-inspired streets. This will see you create your very own streets and try your best to manage the happiness of all who live there. But not only do you get to place the buildings, you also get to decide the aesthetic of each and every one of them. And not only does this include houses, but also shops such as bookstores and boba cafes, and attractions like parks and karaoke as well. But this isn't just a game about placing buildings, because it's also up to you to manage each and every one of the shops that you place, allowing you to change different aspects to meet people's demands. And although this isn't a particularly long game, each of the levels are adorable and a lot of fun, and there's truly nothing else like it. Next up is a game that was actually in the 2023 Wholesome Direct, but is actually coming out next month, and that is Magical Delicacy, and I'm shocked more people aren't talking about this. This sees you play as Flora, who moves into a distant town to open her very own shop on a quest to become a witch. And this truly has the best mix of live sim elements, but also elements of shop and cooking management as well. As not only will you be able to explore a town filled with witches, you'll also find yourself concocting a series of different creations. Be it meals, teas, potions, or pastries, you cook whatever you need to meet your customers' requests. And not only do you get to sell them in your very own store, you can also deliver them to people throughout the town as well, upgrading your equipment and your shop as you go. And I love the fact that on top of this, they've even managed to incorporate elements of platforming. And I love this combination of gameplay experiences. I'm so glad we don't have much longer to wait for this, and I can't wait to play it. Another game coming to the Nintendo Switch is Caravan SandWitch. And although I'm very excited about this game, I'm so sad that I don't know when we could expect it. But this is a narrative-driven exploration adventure based in a sci-fi world, where you're on the hunt for your missing sister. There's no combat, no death, no timer, just you, your van, and a mystery to uncover. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world, one in which humans destroyed and most people left after the planet's destruction. And as you explore, you get to meet not only the humans who stayed behind, but also the robots who were left. I love the fact that cozy games are starting to come in so many different styles, and this truly seems like nothing I've played before, and I'm so excited to get into it. The next announcement was something I was not at all expecting and was blown away when I saw it, and that is the news that we are getting a brand new Life is Strange game called Life is Strange Double Exposure. Now this was unveiled in the Xbox presentation, which means that it's coming to Xbox and PC first, but as we know, a lot of Xbox games aren't exclusive, and Life is Strange has been on the Nintendo Switch, so I expect to see a port at some point. Now if you're new to the Life is Strange franchise, then this is truly one of the best choice-based narrative games there ever was. And in this new game, we'll be back to following Max Caulfield, but 10 years after her first Life is Strange game. And this begins as she discovers her closest friend Safi dead. And she decides for the first time in years to try and rewind time. But instead she winds up opening a parallel timeline where her friend is very much alive, but also very much in danger as the killer is still after her. Now this is a trailer that has brought up a whole load of questions, seeing as the way you left Max in the original game very much depends on your choices. But either way, these graphics look absolutely stunning. I can't wait to jump back in with a story and get all these questions answered. And I genuinely can't believe that this is coming out so soon. Next up is the game made by the developers of Unpacking, and this is confirmed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and this is Tempopo. Now this is a wonderfully different vibe to what Unpacking was, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. This is a puzzle game that sets you off in search of Hannah's missing musical flowers. But in order to get them, you need to rely on these magical creatures called Tempopo. But due to them being woefully uncoordinated, they must be conducted by yourself to reach the flowers on each of the islands. And if you haven't guessed, the music I'm playing behind me right now is from the game, because this game is all about the music, as this allows you to design your very own melodic garden across 60 different levels. This concept is so unique, and this song is an absolute bop. It kind of reminds me of that old like monster mobile game, I can't remember what it's called, where you would like place different monsters down on an island and they'd all start singing and you can make a song out of it. But I truly love the fact that the developers are trying something so different, and I'm really excited to see it. Next up, we have Mixtape, which we know is coming sometime in 2025 to consoles and PC. And again, this is a very music-centered game, as this is described as being a mixtape of memories that follows 3 friends on their very last adventure together, their final party. And to accompany them on their walk to the party, they decided to listen to the most perfectly curated playlist, one that causes them to relive their most pivotal memories. This can range from anything from their first kiss, skateboarding together, taking photos of an abandoned theme park, to even putting on a fireworks show from the backseat of their car. And through this music, you'll be able to play through a mixtape of their lives. A mixtape which is wonderfully 80s. And this kind of gives me Stranger Things vibes, if Stranger Things was, you know, wholesome and not scary. Next up, we have Urban Jungle, and if you're a lover of unpacking, then this may be the perfect game for you to pick up, as this is all about decorating and placing plants. And as someone who is unable to adequately water themselves, let alone a plant, I am very excited to have some virtual ones. This will see you decorate and transform apartments from concrete blocks to a green haven. But not only will you decorate, you will also tidy up and place things back where they belong as well. And although there's no talks of a Switch port quite yet, as this is just a 2-person team, this would be perfect for the Switch and comes out on PC later in 2024. Then we have FruitBus. Now this is coming to PC on October 2024, but consoles at a later date. But this is a game I'm so excited about, as it's all about owning your very own food truck. And it's also unbelievably adorable. This is an open world culinary adventure where you explore the wilds to forage for food and create your very own menu. It's then up to you to make and serve the food in your very own food truck, building a base of loyal customers, each with their own stories to divulge as well. And as you progress, not only will you be able to upgrade your truck's interior to be able to do better recipes, but you'll also be able to decorate the exterior exactly to your taste. And as you guys know, I am a lover of all the food and cafe management games, and I think we need more of them, so I'm very excited to try this. Next up is a cozy game with a little bit of a difference, and don't let the looks deceive you. This is Wanderstop. And this is made by the creators of Stanley Parable, so all may not be as the trailer seems. They describe this as being a narrative-centric cozy game. Yep, they use the words cozy game, all about tea and change. And in this, you play as a fallen fighter called Alta, who manages a tea shop in a magical forest. And this will see you grow and harvest the ingredients, mix them together in a weird contraption that even as a PhD chemist looks wild to me. And when you're not brewing, you can find yourself talking to the travelers who pass through the town, tidying up, or even decorating. The only issue is, Alta doesn't want to be here. And this isn't who she is. And that's all we know. So yeah, this is totally a cozy game that has nothing else darker to it, and it will be a beautifully wonderful cozy experience. But I will say, I do love a cozy game with some darker undertones, and I cannot wait to play this. The downside is, right now, it says it's going to release on PC and the PS5, with no mention of other consoles. But the Stanley Parable is on literally every console imaginable, so hopefully it's just a timed exclusive. Either way, I'm definitely playing this. Next is a game that currently just says PC only, but I can't see it not coming to consoles, and that is Littlelands. I somehow don't think I've ever spoken about this before, and it definitely needs some hype. This seems to be a lot of people's most anticipated game, and I cannot wait to learn more about this. But this is a cozy life sim all about exploration and adventure. In this, you can farm, craft, fish, catch insects, dig around for treasure, or even hang out with the locals. But you can also venture off in search of new places, discover brand new areas, new people, and encounter a lot of challenges. I adore the entire aesthetic of this game and the vibe, and although they decided to delay the demo that should have been coming out yesterday, I still can't wait to play this when they do release it. Next is a game which you'll understand in just 2 seconds why I had to include it, and this is called Petit Island. And yes, I included this because cats. I'm honestly such a simple cozy gamer. You give me cats, I give you money, and that's it. This basically gives me Animal Crossing vibes if you weren't the only human in existence. As in this, you get to play as Lily, who spent her childhood listening to the story of her grandpa's old adventures, which involved exploring islands far away from the big city that they lived in. But despite the fact that his memory may be failing him, his journals that contain all of his adventures still remains. So you decide to set off in the hopes to relive his journey, but also make some memories of your own. And when you explore the islands, you'll be able to find villages and cities filled with locals and tourists that you can speak to. You'll also find hidden treasures and wild animals. And most importantly, you'll be able to run around and take pictures of nostalgic spots that you found from the journal to help rejig Grandpa's memories about his past. This just looks to be such a cute game, and I love the fact that you can customize your cat to look however you want to. I'm definitely going to make it look like my 2 fur children, but I'm just really excited to play this. Next up, we have Into the Emberlands, which is honestly a fun, cozy twist on a classic roguelike game. And in this, you embark on a journey of exploration. You are chosen as a light bearer, equipped with just a lantern to help you see your way through this mist called a miasma. And this will see you travel through a procedurally generated world with different biomes, hidden scenery, and so many places to explore in a world hidden by miasma. But there is just one issue. If your lantern fades, then you too become lost. And it's up to the next light bearer to then try and find you. I love the fact that roguelikes are coming in so many different shapes and fashions at the moment, and I think this will be a great game to get into if you've never tried that genre before. Next up, we have news of some of the most anticipated cozy games coming out in the near future. Now, our first bit of news was actually not covered whatsoever by any of the showcases, and it's quite possibly one of the most exciting announcements we've had, and that's to do with Chef RPG. Not only did we get a brand new trailer, we also got the news that the game will be releasing on Steam on the 12th of September. Just a note though, this will be in early access. But don't worry if you're a Nintendo Switch player, a port is on the way, we just don't know when. And if you can't tell, I'm just a little bit excited because this is actually one of my personal most anticipated cozy games of the year. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting to see it anytime soon. So this announcement basically came out of nowhere for me. So if you've never heard of Chef RPG before, let me just fill you in. In this, you play as a traveling chef who's been tasked to revive a once famous restaurant. And this will see you settle down and begin your brand new life in the town of White Ash Harbor. But what makes this truly unique is the fact that each decision you make on your journey will determine what kind of chef you become. And this has experience points that you can use to unlock special abilities on different experience trees. But in order to run this restaurant, you will first need to gather the ingredients, and you can do it by fishing, hunting, foraging, or even farming. I really love the fact that farming has a purpose in Chef RPG. This new trailer looks fantastic, and I'm so excited to be able to play this game in just a few months. Next up is some news that we have been waiting for so long, and that is the release date for Moonstone Island on the Nintendo Switch. And we finally got told that it will be coming June 19th, so we are just a week and a half away. Moonstone Island has been a game I've been looking forward to for forever. I love this blend between it being a life sim, a farming sim, but also a creature collecting game with dungeons to explore as well. And as long as the port is half decent, this is going to be a game that so many people love. Next up is some of the biggest and best cozy gaming news we've gotten all weekend, and that is to do with Grave Seasons. Now, this is a game that managed to blow up on the internet with just 3 screenshots to its name. That is how unique a concept it is. And finally, after all this time waiting, we finally got to see a teeny tiny trailer for the game. And if you haven't heard of Grave Seasons, this is a farming sim with a little bit of a twist, as this will see you do all the normal farming sim stuff like move into a brand new town, care for your farm, meet the locals and get to know them. But the twist is, the town also has a serial killer. And it's up to you to figure out who this serial killer is, as they murder different villagers in the town. And this really shakes up the friendship mechanic and the romance mechanic as well, because this could literally mean that you end up marrying a serial killer. But the truly best part is, the NPC who is the mass murderer is randomized for every run. So you can't go and look up who the killer is. It's truly up to you to figure it all out. This kind of meshes farming sim stuff with murder mystery stuff, and honestly, it looks a little bit spookier than I thought it would, judging by this trailer. But I am so excited. We don't have a release date yet, but I'm just loving the fact that we got to see a little bit more about it. Next up, let's talk about Discounty, as the Wholesome Direct gave us a brand new trailer, but it also told us that not only will it be releasing in 2025, but it will also be coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is the news we were all hoping for. This is a cozy game with a little bit of a difference, as it's centered all around capitalism. It's basically like a Jojo Mart sim, as this will see you run your very own supermarket in a rundown harbour town. In this, you'll organise and restock the shelves, you'll man the tills, you'll even make trade deals with the locals, and you'll also need to make sure that everyone leaves the store as happy as possible by ensuring it has everything that each of the customers need. And you can do this by getting to know each of the people in the village to kind of figure out what they want. But building a massive business empire comes with a few repercussions, as making big profits often comes at the expense of others and the environment as well. And as your business begins to grow, so will the villagers' resentment. I am honestly so excited for a cozy game that doesn't glorify every single aspect of life, and I sort of really like the idea of having a cozy game where you're the bad guy. We also got the news that Go-Go Town will be coming out in early access on June 18th, which was not something I expected at all. Now, this is a game that's planning on coming to the Nintendo Switch once it's finished, but if you want to get your hands on it right now, it is Steam Deck compatible. Go-Go Town is all about you taking a dilapidated old tourist destination and trying to return it back to its former glory. And I love to describe this game as being like Animal Crossing if you were a mayor who actually did something, because you get to pick not only where each and every one of the buildings go and who works in each of the shops, but it's also up to you to make sure the shops are well stocked, that the farms are delivering all the food to the restaurants, and also setting up things like trash routes to make sure that all the rubbish is being cleared away so the tourists have the best time. And I'm just genuinely so excited that one of my most anticipated cozy games I'll be able to play in just a few weeks. Our final bit of cozy gaming news is the fact that A Little to the Left is getting a brand new DLC, and it's releasing later this month on June 25th. Not only will this brand new DLC have 33 new levels being added, it will also have 100 stars for you to collect and even more cats to interact with. Not only does the DLC look incredible, it also has a big focus on having multiple solutions, with them saying that some levels have up to 5 different ways to solve them. And for the first time ever, some of the items will be interactable as well. This is such a fun puzzle game. I love the fact that they keep adding more to it, and I can't wait to play it. That's it for all the cozy gaming news from this weekend. If there's a cozy game that you want to see me cover, leave it in the comments down below. And if you want to see all the biggest and best cozy games coming out in June, click this video here.